Hello, it is F1 Spud here, and welcome to Spud Ball, episode number 7. In today's video, we are going to be doing our new to the Premier League starting 11. So it's the 11 best players in each position that are going to be in the Premier League for the first ever time. I'll be honest, the Luton Town video didn't do too well on the views and that, but that's okay. If you are new, please drop a subscription on the YouTube and also drop a follow on Twitch. We're very close to 3,000 followers, I would appreciate it. And yeah, this video is pretty good. I'm looking forward to this one. The players that I've chosen I think are good choices. Now I will say next week, which will be the next Saturday's video, will be my Premier League predictions finally. And then after that it will be weekly videos where it'll be game week reviews, game week predictions, and I'll also have a quick look at my fantasy football team and how I did for the week. Without further ado though, let's get into this video. I don't think it'll be a long one. I have actually just got the new Liverpool shirt as well, with someone on the back that's in this video. You'll know who it is obviously because it can't be McAllister. Let's get straight into it. The goalkeeper, Andre Onana. He joined Man United from Inter Milan. Man United fans have wanted a new goalkeeper. De Gea was making saves, but he was making too many mistakes and his distribution wasn't good. This goalkeeper is very good with his feet. A huge signing for Erik ten Hag. He also had Onana at Ajax, so he knows his ability extremely well. I think he'll be a key addition to that Man United team, and I think he's an improvement on De Gea, who did get the Golden Glove last year. Can Onana also get the Golden Glove? Obviously, Man United's defence back four is very strong. We'll have to see what happens with Onana, but I think it's a good signing. Overall, I think he's now the third most expensive goalkeeper behind Kepa and Alisson. Obviously, Kepa hasn't lived up to the price tag where Alisson did. We'll have to. I think Onana can. I think he's a good signing, to be honest. All but not be obviously being unbiased there. Right back, I've gone for Jurrien Timber from Arsenal. The versatile defender joined Arsenal from Ajax and could play as a right back or a centre back. He could fill in for Ben White, he could play instead of Saliba potentially, or even if Arsenal wanted to play a 3 at the back and potentially have Ben White as a inverted fullback, because he did play a similar position. He played as a defensive midfielder actually for Leeds in the Championship. I think he'd be great in that system as a right centre back for Timber. He looked really good in the Netherlands with Ake and Van Dijk in a back 3. And they almost got to the semi-finals, but lost on penalties to the champions, Argentina. I think he was only about £34 million, which is really good in this market for someone of Timber's ability, age, and versatility, to be honest. Centre-back 1, I've gone for Pau Torres from Aston Villa. Unai Emery played with him, had him at Villarreal. He loved him a lot. Man United and Spurs have been linked with him in the past. But he joined Villa. I think European football guaranteed for Villa this year in the Conference League, where they will be one of the favourites to win it, will be a huge factor. I think he'll start for Aston Villa over Mings or Konsa. I'm interested to see who he plays in centre-back in that first game against Newcastle. He's had some minutes in the summer series. He's very calm on the ball, which suits Emery's philosophy and game plan superbly. A very, very good signing in my opinion. Obviously, these players on this list, most of them are quality signings. Some of them, though, we just didn't have many players to pick from. Other centre-back, there was 2 players to go for me here. It was either Igor from Brighton or Calvin Bassey. And I've gone for Calvin Bassey. He joined Fulham after a pretty disappointing season in the Netherlands. He didn't do that well for Ajax, but he was very good at Rangers. If we can see the Bassey that we saw at Rangers, I know he played left-back mainly for Rangers. He could be a key signing for Marco Silva with Tosin Adebayo set to leave. And I'll be honest, I think Tosin's a very good centre-half. And apparently Monaco are the favourites and they've only bid about 5 million. And I think, honestly, Liverpool need another centre-back because I don't think Matip's good enough anymore. I would say like 10 million for Tosin's a pretty good price. It's only 25. They were choosing between Bassey and Salisu from Southampton, but in the end they went for Bassey. Which I think is he's going to be a good signing for them, but he might take some time to adapt. Now, he did originally, before joining Rangers, play for Leicester's Academy, but as he never made it into a Premier League matchday squad, I included him on this list. Left back, you'll have seen him if you watch the first ever Spud Ball video. Milos Kertes. I mentioned the Hungarian left back in a previous video. What a signing this is. I know I said Everton should have went in for him, but to be honest, Lazio, Benfica, they both wanted him. He was very close to joining Lazio, who have Champions League football, but they hijacked the deal and signed Kertes as their new left back. He's a defender that will fight for the badge. He's strong, he's fast, he's a huge upgrade on what Bournemouth currently had at left back, seeing as Matheus Viña had to go back to Roma after being on loan for 6 months. I think he'll be a great addition, and I think under the new manager, he'll be a very good signing, and will be one of the reasons why they could stay up next season. Obviously, I don't want to give away my predictions for my Bournemouth prediction. Now onto the midfielders. I'm going to say Tonali from Newcastle. I'll be honest, I'm not too sure if Tonali is going to be a huge success due to previous Italians in the Premier League. I know Jorginho's had a good career at Chelsea and now he's at Arsenal, but he's a very exciting player and he's still only 23 years old, Tonali. He's very highly rated. I know there's rumours he didn't want to leave Milan, he wanted to be the next Pirlo, but they needed the money to reinvest in the whole squad, which is fair enough. He can play as a 6 or as an 8. He'll partner up with Joe Linton and Bruno, potentially, as Newcastle return to the Champions League for the first time in a while. They obviously need that midfield depth. They need strong midfielders, because I think this next season for Newcastle will be a lot harder than this season, because other teams, Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs, are all improving, and no one expected Newcastle to get in the top 4 last season. They're going to be playing twice a week as well now. Maybe some of their players aren't up to that yet, but they spend over 50 million, which I think is a relatively fair price in this market. I'm interested to see how Tonali does. I'm not sure yet how he'll do. I was struggling for another centre mid, except the guy that's coming up next that you already can tell by the shirt I'm wearing. But I've gone for Dahoud from Brighton. I think for a free transfer, it's pretty good business. I think he'll play in the double pivot with Caicedo if he stays. He has European experience. And I watched the first half of the Brighton-Newcastle game last night in the summer series. I thought he looked alright. To be honest, this is like the prime of his career now. Obviously, he did okay at Dortmund, but he wasn't really a starter at Dortmund. So I'm not sure if he will start for Brighton much, but I think he could do. I do think Brighton are going to be a weaker side, especially if they lose Caicedo. So I'm kind of interested to see how Brighton do next season. Obviously, they've got Europa League as well, playing twice a week. They started to play twice a week towards the end of the season, and they started to have to rotate more, which ultimately cost them games. I know they beat Arsenal 3-0 at the Emirates, but they also lost 5-1 to Everton at the Amex. So it's an interesting one, Brighton, and Dahoud will have to live up to expectations. Obviously, I've got to go for Szoboszlai, haven't I? The Hungarian playmaker. We've done a full video on him, which got over 400 views, by the way. He made the switch from Germany to Liverpool in a £60 million deal. He'll play as an 8 for Klopp, but could also play on the wing. He could also play on the left side, a left 8 or a right 8 as well. He's quick and versatile, can create a lot of chances for himself and his teammates. Created over 70 chances last season in the Bundesliga alone. I expect a really good season from him. I have loads of hype and faith. You know, I don't normally get Liverpool players on the back of my shirt if they've just joined the club. But I was really excited for this signing. I was obviously happy that we got McAllister. I thought it was a brilliant addition. But there's something about the Szoboszlai deal. I've not really felt this excited for a signing probably since Alisson, honestly. Even though there's been some great signings, Jota, Thiago, even though Thiago hasn't been amazing because of his injuries, Gakpo, Nunes, Kanate. I think the Szoboszlai one for me, my favourite one since Alisson. I expect a super season from him. Liverpool have had to rely on their attack a lot to get the goals and assists, whereas I think now, and the fullbacks of course, Trent and Robertson, but I think Szoboszlai could be that midfield playmaker that Liverpool have needed since Coutinho left. Yet Liverpool did win every single trophy possible without Coutinho, but I do think that now, you saw last season in this new system, Henderson and Jones. I thought Jones plays well in the 8, so he can rotate with McAllister, but I think we needed someone with a lot of attacking threat, and I think Szoboszlai's the man for that. Moving on to our forwards. I've called them forwards because of Nkunku. He can play as a 9, you know. I didn't want to call him a left winger because he's not as good on the wing as he is as a shadow striker or a number 9, whatever you want to say. So Nkunku was one of the standout players for Leipzig last year, along with Szoboszlai, Olmo, Gardeval, you know. He's joined Pochettino's Chelsea team. His best position is a shadow striker, playing behind a striker who will shortly be mentioned. You'll know who I'm on about. I think he'll be a very good signing. I know people have said the same about Werner, the same about Havertz, the same about Lukaku, the same about Morata. But I don't think Chelsea fans should expect tons of goals from him. I think he'll create a lot of chances. And the guy on the end of the video is the guy that needs to be burying them chances. Next, we've got Moussa Diaby from Aston Villa. You guys know my opinion on the Saudi League. I hate it. I cannot stand it. I was over the moon, even though it's making the opposition stronger, I was over the moon that Diaby chose Aston Villa over Al Nassr. That he wanted to play in England. He chose passion over money. Passion and morals won this day. A fast player, a superb dribbler, and can also find the back of the net. He'll be a huge upgrade on Leon Bailey. I know he also came from Leverkusen. And Bertrand Traore. He may play as a right midfielder or as a second striker behind Watkins. However, I do think it'd be more likely on the right-hand side, where Buendia will play as a shadow striker. Behind Watkins. Watkins had to score the majority of the goals last season, along with like Jacob Ramsey. So I'll be hoping for some assistance in that instance. And obviously the other forward is Nicholas Jackson. I was a bit sceptical of the signing at first. He was very close to joining Bournemouth in January, but he failed his medical. Then he returned from injury and started to be really clinical for Villarreal in La Liga. His shot conversion rate was very high, and he's looked really good in pre-season as well. But can he be the number 9 that they've needed? I think the last good number 9 for Chelsea personally was Diego Costa. I'm not sure if he's going to be as good. I think he'll start the season as the number 9. I think against Liverpool they'll play Mudryk, Nkunku, Sterling, and then Jackson as the front 4. Obviously pre-season is pre-season, but I do genuinely think that he's going to be a pretty good signing for them. I think Chelsea are definitely doing their business a lot smarter this window. However, will they get Caicedo? They did have an £80 million bid rejected. So much money that. And I know that Lavia is an alternative, and obviously Liverpool want Lavia. At this moment in time, by the way, Liverpool don't have a defensive midfielder because Bajcetic is injured. And I still think Bajcetic long-term should be a number 8. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this video. I do really appreciate it. This is the last one before the Prem predictions, and then we start the weekly videos of game reviews, game predictions, you know, who's overperformed, underperformed. I'm looking forward to that a lot. But yeah, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. I do appreciate it, and I'll see you next week for the Prem predictions. Cheerio.